Between Dream and Reality, Chapter 11 of Holographic Multiverse. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into what I think is one of the most intense and psychologically disturbing chapters I've ever read. Chapter 11, Between Dream and Reality. And guys, I'm not exaggerating when I say this chapter will mess with your head in the best possible way. Setting the stage. So our protagonist walks into this chapter completely exhausted, right? But here's the thing. He's also got this weird, desperate energy, this fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, tonight will be different. You know that feeling when you're so tired that you convince yourself you'll finally get good sleep? Yeah, that's exactly where we are. Watch how methodical he gets about it. He tries watching comedy to distract himself, takes a hot bath, drinks warm milk, pops his sleeping pills. It's like he's performing some kind of ritual. The guy even removes the clock from his room because, let's face it, if you're an insomniac, watching time tick by is pure torture. Everything seems set up perfectly for a good night's sleep. But then, everything starts falling apart. When the pills kick in, and not in a good way. Here's where things get genuinely disturbing. The sleeping pill starts working, but not how you'd expect. Instead of peaceful drowsiness, he describes this artificial heaviness, like a mist falling over his brain. And then comes this absolutely brilliant and horrifying metaphor. There's a butterfly in his brain. But this isn't some poetic, beautiful butterfly. This thing is frantically circling around inside his skull, and it's driving him absolutely insane. The desperation gets so intense that he literally wants to crack open his skull and take his brain out just to make it stop. I mean, can you imagine being that trapped inside your own head? This is where the chapter really shows its teeth. This isn't just about being tired. This is about your own brain becoming your worst enemy. The panic spiral. So the frustration builds and builds until he's teetering on the edge of a complete nervous breakdown. His heart starts doing this creepy delayed beat thing, and he stumbles out to the garden in this drug-induced fog, hoping the cold air will help. Spoiler alert. It doesn't. Instead, he gets hit with a full-blown panic attack. Heart racing, can't breathe, completely disoriented. He drags himself back inside, but now he's wide awake and it's 3 a.m. Game over. Another sleepless night confirmed. The hallucinations begin. Now this is where the chapter earns its title. Our guy tries some deep breathing exercises to calm down, which honestly seems reasonable, right? But instead of finding peace, his mind just breaks free.
Hallucination number 1. The Cannibal Chase. Picture this. He's suddenly in Africa, being chased by cannibals. They catch him in a net, drag him to their fire, and start preparing him like he's dinner. The detail here is insane. He can feel the heat on his back, the cords around his wrists. But here's the kicker. When he snaps out of it, those physical sensations don't just disappear. For 20 minutes, he can still feel the rope burns, still feel the heat. This isn't just a bad dream anymore. His body is convinced this stuff actually happened to him. Hallucination number 2. The Snake Cave. This one's brutal. The second hallucination is somehow even worse. He's in a cave with this massive snake approaching, and when he tries to run, his legs just won't work. They're like lead, glued to the floor. Now here's where it gets really terrifying. He wakes up, he can see his bedroom, hear cars outside, he knows exactly where he is, but he still can't move. At all. His brain is awake, but his body is completely paralyzed, and he can still feel that snake wrapped around him. Imagine being trapped in your own body like that. He has to fight to regain control, finger by finger, toe by toe. This isn't just sleep paralysis. This is psychological horror at its finest. Hallucination number 3. Paradise Lost and nearly fatal. The third one starts beautiful. He's in this gorgeous lagoon paradise. Finally, something nice, right? Wrong. It turns into this nightmare with a deer and a car plunging into an abyss, and when he wakes up from this one, something's seriously wrong. This time it's not just fear or paralysis. His whole system is shutting down. He feels like his soul is literally splitting apart. He can't form a single coherent thought. Stabbing chest pains. And here's the scary part. He forgets how to breathe. This isn't a panic attack anymore. This is his autonomic nervous system, the stuff that keeps you alive without you thinking about it, just failing. He's basically having a neurological crisis brought on by extreme stress and whatever chemical chaos is happening in his brain. The dawn analysis. Brutal self-reflection. By 5:30 a.m., he's sitting in his living room, too shaken to even think about sleep, and he does what any analytical person would do after surviving psychological trauma. He tries to make sense of it. He breaks down his night of hell into 3 phases. Phase 1, pure terror. Everything goes into overdrive, heart pounding, body tingling, feeling like he's been dunked in hot water. Classic fight or flight response, cranked to 11. Phase 2, total loss of control, complete paralysis, feeling like his soul is floating in airless space while his body becomes a prison. The mind-body connection just breaks. Phase 3, system failure, the most dangerous part, when his subconscious control over breathing and heart rate just stops working. He realizes this could have actually killed him if it lasted much longer. The questions he asks himself at the end are haunting. Would he have died if he couldn't breathe for another 30 seconds? How did his thoughts lose control over his own body? What force pulled him back from the brink? Why this chapter hits so hard? What makes Between Dream and Reality so effective is how it explores that terrifying space where you're not quite asleep, but not fully awake either. It's psychological horror grounded in stuff that could actually happen to your brain and body under extreme stress. The chapter shows us that sometimes the scariest monster isn't hiding under your bed. It's hiding in your own nervous system, in the chemicals in your brain, in the fragile connection between your mind and body. Final thoughts. This chapter doesn't give us a neat resolution or happy ending. Instead, it leaves us with this profound awareness of how fragile we really are. The protagonist ends up grateful to be alive, but terrified it might happen again. And honestly, after reading this, you might find yourself looking at sleep a little differently. The author has taken something we all do every night and turned it into a battleground where your own mind becomes the enemy. What did you think of this chapter analysis? Have you ever experienced anything like sleep paralysis or those weird in-between dream states? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives like this, smash that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into the mysteries of the holographic multiverse, I invite you to check out my book. You can get your copy right now. Just follow the link in the description below. Your support not only helps me create more content, but also fuels this journey of exploration. Want even deeper access? Join my Patreon for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and a free download of my book. As a patron, you'll also receive bonus videos on how I conquered insomnia and anxiety, plus a private 30-minute call with me to explore life's biggest questions together. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X for updates, extra content, and mind-expanding discussions. Links are all below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.